inherited their
First up, introduce yourself.
um my name is Faye, and I work on such projects like the Demon List. I'm the top one player currently of Polydash, and I run an entire series by the name of Everything Wrong with Polydash Levels.
Nice. That seems like a lot of work to do.
Yeah, it is actually a lot of work to do because, well, I actually spend hours in the morning trying to trying to update all of this shit and to do stuff like the Demon List updates, the submissions, the victors, albeit, Toxic is there to clutch when I'm unavailable. And then every now and then what I do is I preemptively record a video or two in bulk. Like, for example, when I do an Everything Wrong with Polydash Levels episode, and then after that I'll edit it on the next few days. But overall, I usually have a lot of work and stuff to do.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start with the first question.
Mm-hmm.
I think this might not be a surprise, but first question is, are you mentally healthy?
Yes. I've, this year has been great, and overall, I've been happier for the time I've been in the Polydash community, mainly within late 2025 to the entirety of 2026. Albeit some people will misinterpret the reason of me being happy. I'm mainly happy because of this community and not because of any sort of power trip upon the community, as people have, mentioned to me before.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see. Sorry. I'm also happy with the community too.
Pardon?
I'm also happy with the community too.
Yeah. Yeah, the community is great. The community is me and Toxic try our best to keep the community under control and try and, negate any bad actors, people
Yeah,
who are very like, for example, that like even yesterday we had to ban somebody for some for some awful shit. But I don't think I can even say for it to be on YouTube.
yeah. We are not saying what happened.
Yeah. hmm
All right. What interested you in Polydash?
Uh, I was recommended it by one of my friends in another community I was in. I was relatively interested in playing it because I thought it would have just been something funny and something that would have been relatively temporary. However, I started to burn out on the normal GD because I don't really have an explanation for it. I just kind of started to after stuff like Axiom Asterism, I couldn't really get back to where I was. My motivation was minimal, and I kind of really like, and I still generally enjoy the buzz I get from verifying levels for the demon list, and to, be such a presence around the community to the point where it's very it became a significant passion of mine to hang out around this community.
I can see where you're getting from Geometry Dash. I myself has been a little bit burned out from creating layouts from Geometry Dash.
hmm
It's not as repetitive, but it's tiring.
Yeah.
Um, Next question, I think.
hmm Yes.
What motivated you in being in top play?
It it's it was just fun, really. I had a for a while I had a goal because I was trying to overtake the longtime best player Spawn Plays, who's a great guy, by the way. Um, and I found it fun, and when I realized I was able to verify new top ones for the list and verify such difficult levels, I didn't hold back, which to be fair, I do in some sort of fashion regret because now the surface of the list does seem to be very, very difficult to the point where there's barely anybody who are doing um, diamond tiers, pearl tiers, and ruby tiers, for example. But that's why the ARDL format update occurred. It's to help with that.
And there's a lot of top players like Scarlet Paracosm that can rival you, right?
Hmm.
A lot of
Yes.
people.
Yeah, and
Player
I
like
don't
Fairy
worry about
had
that.
like 6,000 points.
Yeah. I'm very ahead, and I don't really worry about it because it's one of those things where I haven't just grinded, but I've grinded the very top levels. Whilst I have absolutely huge respect for Scarlet Paracosm, but currently they're hard as a Ruby tier, so when they do grind, they tend to be a decent bit, you know, lacking when it comes to points because of which region they grind at. And when I would actually like to have a pure rivalry with somebody because that means I'd be able to try and attempt to show my potential as a top player even more because I've been stagnant at the top one spot for um, basically a year and a half now. And so it would be nice to be able to have some decent competition because, you know, just like me, Scarlet Paracosm does have the skill and motivation, and I feel like that if they upgrade the device that they play on, then they'd be able to rival me, which I would be very, very happy about because it would be a very satisfying and entertaining experience to be able to rival somebody for once.
Yeah. I know Scarlet Paracosm does play on mobile.
I'm pretty sure so, but
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if they still play on mobile. I'd have to personally check, and
I find it
I
impressive as
think
shit because of how much delayed it
yeah,
is for tapping on the screen and stuff.
yeah, I think they are on mobile. I think they still are. I gotta admit.
I think they've been on mobile for a long time.
Yeah. Hmm.
Um, what made you take upon the task of managing the demon list?
I wasn't a fan of how the previous demon list was managed. It was very the movements were random. There was not really any coordination. It actually got to the point where they put the because of quote unquote people's opinions, even though the majority of people didn't really think it, they put the original Metropolis over Metropolis V2 on the list. And when I saw that, just to have a little insight, that's the equivalent of putting a insane 8 star above an easy demon, which is when you play both even Metropolis could be said to be a harder 7 star even. When you feel the difficulty of both, you would greatly realize that that was not the case. And even then, in stuff like the challenge list, a lot of the a lot of hacked levels or hacked completions were slipping through the cracks, such as, for example, Firestorm, who would speed hack a lot of their stuff. But I suppose that Atomic, um, the previous owner of the Demon List, I guess they didn't really proof check on the video submissions, and it got to a point where even they would take a lot longer on um, accepting than we do now. It got to a point where I felt like I was able to one do a better job and add more features to make it more engaging, and just kind of expand the lists in a way that would be kind of like a quality of life change, where now there is the Polydash Demon list, challenge list, and even the open verification list slash the impossible list, where you're able to submit world records for levels that, if you want to, you can verify levels that would be still list worthy, um, such as silvers to anything from silvers to titanium tiers, or you can try and get world records on harder levels like amethyst, onyx, azurite, and obsidian, and even unobtainium if you want to go that mad.
Unobtainium is not going to be beaten yet.
Yeah, never.
Is the old demon list still viewable today, or is it just gone?
After a couple months, it was taken down by the by Atomic due to obviously the current demon list becoming a lot more popular.
I see. Well, Wayback Machine should still have it, right? Is it
Yeah,
the
Wayback.
same?
Yeah, it's still in Wayback Machine, and people can go into the Wayback Machine if they want to have some hit of nostalgia, because it both shows how, you know, how the list was at the time in the format, but also, what levels were where and how much easier the list was back in 2024 to early 2025.
Because when I first started playing, wasn't Polyscapes like top 50 or something?
Yeah, and I think Polyscapes as a whole was placed around the top 20. And the fact that it is now, if I am correct, out of the top 200 in Amber tier, yes, 210 is absolutely crazy to me. We've gotten to a point where now there are 331 levels on the list. When we started the Polydash Demon list um, back in May 2025, both me and Myths, we saw that there was 112 levels. So to be able to expand the entire list by basically triple in about a year and 2 months was truly special to see, and very, very revolutionary when it comes to thinking and looking at the motivations of the demon list.
Yeah, that's really cool to see it expand so much. Um, Next question. Do you enjoy doing what you do in this community? I think it's.
Yes, I do. I enjoy what I do, and obviously there's going to be every now and then a couple bad days where drama kind of sets in a bit, but I've started to learn a bit better on how to take such hate and stuff like that, and I've been given words of motivation by other people and relative admiration for the work that I do, to the point where I've kind of adapted to a mindset that if someone is, directly hating and they seem to be the only person who is hating, then there's no reason to worry about them unless it's, you know, greatly expands.
That's, I don't have much to comment on that, but
Mhm.
I find it. Yeah. What's the end goal of your career in top play?
I don't actually have. I don't think I have an end goal. You know, I remember last year I was thinking of quitting, um, and doing a couple last ditch levels, like for example, Fly High and Flaming Feather, um, which both haven't aged or ended well. I kind of tended to carry on because I started to realize that I couldn't really quit such a thing. I enjoyed playing the list and talking with the community too much to be able to let everything go. And this was before a time where the Polydash Demon list made by me and Myths existed. So I can kind of imagine how the timeline would have changed if I did actually quit, which would have been absolutely massive.
That's, um, what made you come up with a concept of everything wrong with polydash levels?
I was going to do a one-time video where I hated the level so much, aka space flight, to the point where I absolutely needed to point out how bad it was and what I know I was along the early episodes like space flight I was a lot more nitpicky, but the level the level as a whole was devastatingly bad. and and when people ended up watching it, they actually quite enjoyed it. And I asked whether I should turn it into a series or not, and people were very, very happy with the idea of me doing that. And I was very confused because I wasn't expecting people to actually like it. And now at this point, after that, now there has been 49 episodes, but currently, as of, you know, speaking, only 44 of them have been released, and I'm currently working on the 50th episode special. But it's it's actually if it wasn't for that poll, the series would have never existed. I'm very, very glad I did do that poll because otherwise, um, it wouldn't have it wouldn't have flourished in the same way. People wouldn't have a long form content series to watch, and to be able to fulfill that and be reminded that I you know I've been able to make this possible was very, very special for me for me to do. Um, wait, I will send in a little video real quick to see just to show just to show. I posted this before my everything wrong with Polydash levels account was made, and so the thumbnail was just a bunch of handwriting, and not a lot of people actually have seen this exact thumbnail before. And this was a video that I transported to this is the video which premiered the newer channel with the now iconic thumbnail format. And I was very glad about that. I was very glad because I wanted to make a new account anyways, and this gave me a good excuse to be able to do such a thing, to make a public account.
I see a lot of channels that criticize things get usually a lot of popularity. I can see
Hmm.
that. Well, when are you planning to end the series? Is there a planned
When
end to it, or
like the end of the current season or the series as a whole?
series as a whole?
I don't want to. I don't want to end it. I've already confirmed that I'd be, there will be a season 4 coming out after like a couple months after season 3 has ended, around late September, and because of the such support that this series gets, I will be continuing it until I have to stop.
Seeing as you aren't all that busy with real life stuff, I don't think uh, you're able to do a lot.
Yeah.
Do you envision yourself being overtaken one day?
Yes. It's an unlikely one, but it's definitely to happen at some point. I don't think that I'm the absolute best there can be, and that easily someone would need to have more skill to be able to take over my top one spot. But the main problem usually isn't the skill, because I can definitely guarantee that there's players in Polydash right now that are better than me, such as Joak, such as Spawn. What matters the most is the motivation. That's the sole thing that catches a lot of players out. And me being able to acquire both is what has made me stand still at the top one spot for so long.
I think there's a small group of people who have beaten like a pearl or a diamond or something like that. I see
Mhm.
that they have a lot of potential to
Yeah.
grind out the demon list and eventually overtake you.
Yeah, they just need the motivation though. That's what they need the most.
It's like what we discussed earlier with Scarlet
Yeah.
Hypercon.
Yeah, it's similar to that type of thing.
How did you come up with the name Faye or Fayo?
I actually didn't come up with the name for it. My father did back in 2005, and I've practically inherited their username, as they made their username for the very, very original Xbox 360, right? Upon launch. And then I kind of just, I inherited the name. Um, and then after that, I realized, due to my growing, wokeness, I was able to change my name to Faye with an E, which is a feminine gender neutral name. And it was very convenient and worked well with me, because I didn't need to decide on a name or anything like that. I was able to just change it to Fame, and boom, I was just very comfortable with that.
Holy, we've burned through most of the questions already.
Hmm.
Um, what is your biggest regret in your PD career?
Biggest regret. Oh, I think my biggest regret um was kind of overwhelmingly um my overwhelmingly loud kind of persona, and not really persona, but personality I had in mid 2025, because by that time I actually I built um I built a relatively decent ego, but I was also I was a lot more aggravated, and that kind of caused people to not like me as much. In which, compared to nowadays, I only really show aggravation or annoyance if someone does something that I don't like, such as rushing me on with a change um, or a completion, um, or having a overwhelming confidence to the point where it's the only thing that's saving them from seeing reality. And when people um, absolutely ignore any sort of advice possible, those are, you know, those are usually the things that are the easiest to set me off with. And with a lot of the anger, other than that, I am not really able to control it very easily due to underlying diagnosed conditions that I had been diagnosed in back in 2022.
I hope you're doing all right now. But
I'm doing better. It's really one of those things where depending on how depending on how happy I am in life, it will happen a lot less. Depending on if I'm upset in life or a lot more stressed, then it'll happen way more. That's usually how it goes.
all right, it's we've burned through most of the main questions. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Pick a number between 11 through 15.
13.
What made you play X Untitled X and end up verifying it?
I I I actually I think I was seeing through Nan's account, and back in 2024 I kind of started taking up X Untitled X, and it's quite a hefty grind per se. I spent thousands and thousands of attempts doing it, and there were always these choke points which were absolutely dreadful. If Duck sees this, they'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But stuff like the last click and 63% is like it feels like almost an RNG click. The alignment, it almost shifts every single attempt. But it was awful to the point where I kind of got a bit demotivated on it, and I kind of wanted to play easier levels. Um, and X Untitled X, I would play every now and then through 2025 and 2026, to the point where I started playing it more frequently around the middle of June, however, just an every now and then thing. And then during mid-June, I got very lucky to the point where I fluked the last click, which is like it's like somewhere in between a 60 and a 120 FPS frame perfect, as I've been told. And then I ended up verifying the first ever Amethyst tier level in Polydash history.
Yikes, that's a big jump from like Joax's mommy, right?
Yeah, it is. It's a jump from about top 600 to top 450, which is harder than Digital Descent.
Yikes.
Yeah.
It's like 6 pearls, and then you got like one amethyst.
Yeah.
It shows how much curve the difficulty has gone.
Mhm. Yeah.
We got 11, 12, 14, and 15 left.
Mhm.
What do you want to choose?
I'll do 14.
What is your biggest mental challenge in Polydash?
Um, my biggest mental challenge is having to deal with direct hatred, not to get confused with criticism. But when I'm being hated or accused on something, due to the problems I previously mentioned, I find it difficult to not respond to it. And so every now and then I do end up making a bad decision, or I end up having to ask for advice from people close to me in this community, so I know what's the right thing to do. Because, you know, a response could be A response could be a lot, and depending on the response that you do, it can be um, it can be fuel for the fire. It can be, you know, it can feed the accusations that previously had no evidence. And any sort of response you give, it doesn't matter. They'll find a way to twist it in a way that is against you.
I could see that, like a lot of popular Roblox creators responding, like, who do
Hmm.
we want to choose? Parlo? No. I'm trying to think of some other people. You know who Ducky is, right?
Yes.
I think he has responded to a lot of drama, and most of them have been twisted, and I
Hmm.
don't watch their videos time to time, but
Mm.
I can see a lot of happening with the criticisms and, well, not criticism, but the
Yeah.
drama that they usually get into.
Yeah.
Nothing special, but it's reoccurring a lot.
Hmm.
Um, 15, 12, or 11. What you want to choose next?
I'll do 11.
This might be interesting since you are the everything wrong with Polydash levels guy. What is your
Hmm.
hottest take in Polydash?
What is my hottest take in Polydash? Wow. Um. Ooh. Um. I. You know. I think that Metropolis V4 should be a lot lower than it is on the list. However, due to me being shipped carried, a lot of people greatly disagree with it. Like, for example, it was on top. It was at top two at some point. I thought, like, you know, people think now that it's top 10, but I think that it's top 30. So it's kind of just equalizing it at this point, and hence why it's at 17. And people get relatively people get relatively annoyed because I find Metropolis V4 so so much easier than anybody else.
The first Victor spawn. Did you say it was like higher than the
Mm.
current placement, or
Oh, it was at 2 at the time, and because of him, it was able to be lowered to about 5 or 7 on the list, which at the time I thought it was top 15. Which, that kind of helped a lot with being able to balance the marks and regions of it.
there's a chance I might go for that, but there is no chance I'm gonna be able to beat it within this year.
Yeah.
Um, 12 or 15?
12.
Who do you think is the most underrated player in Polydash?
Who do I think is the most underrated player in Polydash?
Yeah.
Um, hmm. Even like even though they've been getting a lot of traction recently, I'm still willing to say Scarlet Paracosm because again they've completed slash verified 141 levels compared to my 166 levels on 156 levels, sorry. And even if the levels in general are um less difficult, it's it's still a massive amount of commitment, and I feel like a lot of these kind of stuff that I get, a lot of the recognition I have should go to them as well.
they've beaten a lot of easier levels, so if they start beating diamond levels or even pearl tiers, they might overtake it one day.
Yeah, yeah. But the hardest currently is space simulation. So maybe if they change to like a similar setup as I do, like a 240 hertz PC, then they definitely would have it in the bag because they are way better on mobile than I could ever be. And I mean that.
There's a really good chance too. Yeah.
Yeah.
One more question.
Hmm.
It's only been like half an hour.
Yeah.
Um, about the eggnog hyperdrama. How did the rivalry between you and them start?
They kind of started to harass me a lot, and because I didn't raise their level back to where they wanted, when the thing that they don't really understand to this day is that I'm not in control of people's opinions. I'm in control of the list, meaning that I shouldn't be hated or criticized for doing a movement that I didn't warrant, and instead victors like Toxic, Duck, and Scarlet Paracosm gave. And it was quite funny as well because they were glazing Scarlet Paracosm a lot as well. Um, but little did they know they were the one who wanted that change happen because um Toxic and Duck didn't say anything, but Scarlet Paracosm did. And when I felt that all was blown way too out of proportion, I had people um I had people see what they were genuinely doing, and everyone found it to be absolutely wrong. And everyone kind of went in. However, a lot of them didn't attack. However, some of them did, which I wasn't very happy about, such as Obsidian, for example. Um, and it's we were trying to kind of make him realize what he was doing, but he as previously said by Miz in a DM, they kind of became a lost hope. And it gets to a point where even their friends nowadays still kind of chat a bit of shit on my content, calling they spat like one of their friends by the name I think Metadarker. They called every single comment on the Eggnog Hyper video shit. And then Yin Yang, another one of their friends, who by the way does not know how to submit a completion for shit, they um they kept on kind of going onto my videos and being like this content is bad and all of that, which I didn't really give them much time, but it was definitely really funny to see who was the people who were trying to defend Eggnog were the people who are just like them. Which, if they do watch this, which I doubt so, because they have an attention span of blueberry muffins. They, you know, they because they're all on the same boat. They should know that that is not a good thing to be acting like each other because they are very, very bad actors in the community. And, you know, Rage Baiters or not, they are, for them to be spamming comments talking about how, like, hating on me kind of shows that they are being for real and very serious about it, which kind of is a bit contradictory because like that kind of makes them into an entire laughing stock when people see their stuff.
Um, the form. It, they said they couldn't format
Oh,
the
yeah. I know. I remember it was put in the fucking announcements a bit ago because that's kind of a tradition at this point. Where where we mention extremely, extremely bad submissions. I can actually send it on Discord right now. But they put their level, which I played, which is a horrible, horrible level, by the way, problems. And this was submitted as a verification. They put 15% their YouTube link and then their placement opinion, which a verification cannot be 15%. And it was so like funny to me because it really shows how old they are if they're not capable of following a submission very well.
Yikes. Verification 15%.
Hmm.
Where did the being with spawn ping fail with rizz come from on December 18th?
Oh wow. That was just an entire about basically back in December 18th/19th of 2024. What what he would do a lot was kind of say stuff like Riz and Skibbity and call I think they called me fayo rizz at some point. And when I said never call me that ever again, it was it was at a time where I was a bit less tolerant towards Gen 1 brain rot. Um, but it's kind of really funny looking back at it because you see all of these genuine clips from when I had that it was when I had my old profile picture, by the way, which means it was absolutely ancient. But you know, it was very funny, and I'm very glad that those became speech bubbles because now they're some of the most iconic speech bubble clips of all time when it comes to Polydash.
Yeah, I can find that being a trend now.
Hmm.
Um, New trend, May 17th, ping fail with skivity. Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for coming by and
Hmm.
enter and accepting the interview and stuff. Have a
Bye.
great day,
Yeah.
and I hope to see whatever comes next.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. All right. Bye.
Bye.